Hi, my name is Helen. And yes, I am a woman. Welcome to my podcast, a podcast with scary stories I have written. But I have chosen to record it with an AI voice, and if you ever heard mine, you know why. Are you ready? I hope you locked your doors, checked under your bed, and turned the lights off. Because now it's time for frightful fiction. Do you dare to listen? The ground consists of nearly impenetrable terrain all the way back to the trail. It's harder to walk uphill than it was to navigate down the slope. Emmy stretches her hand toward Dennis, who takes it and helps her back up onto the trail. Who is whistling like that, since it clearly wasn't one of us? William asked, and he scans the forest, as does Dennis. Jonathan gets up on the trail. I've never heard a whistle like that before. I assume it's not very common to know how to whistle like that. Jonathan said. That's true. Emmy has never met anyone who knows how to whistle like that. It takes time and a lot of practice to get the hang of it. Many of her friends gave up before mastering the art, unable to create sound with their closed hands. So, it's definitely not a common whistle. I think it was Mom. I mean, why not? I taught her the whistle before she was murdered, and it sounded as though it came from behind us. At least that's where I think the sounds originated. And we are the last in line, so it can't be anyone from the group, Dennis said. He raises his head, probably to give weight to his newly spoken words. And Emmy has to purse her lips, as if she physically has to stop herself from reminding Dennis, and perhaps even herself, that ghosts aren't real. At least, not in that way, haunting people and whistling at them, or do they? Emmy hasn't made a definitive decision about the other side yet, but it sounds too absurd to accept as an explanation. Dennis, you can't seriously believe that Mom is whistling at us, from wherever she may be. Emmy said. Why not? Dennis replied. He shrugs his shoulders and smiles. I think if the dead were to communicate with us, they would do it more discreetly. I mean, why would Mom communicate so clearly that even Jonathan hears her? Emmy said, hoping to bring her brother back to reality, where ghosts don't whistle, but he just looks down at the ground. Emmy walks over to him and pats him on the shoulder. It looks like he needed it. I still think it was Mom. I mean, who else could it have been? Dennis asked, but didn't seem to want an answer as he begins to walk forward. Now I want to hurry to the next hot spot. I need to strengthen our communication abilities. Dennis eagerly said. William follows his little brother. But Emmy stands still and Jonathan stands with her. Maybe we should join them too. I might need to get going, considering I'm not sure how long Sandra will be entertained by Benny's stories. I might need to step in, Jonathan said. Earlier it did seem like Sandra was genuinely enjoying walking with Benny. She had even laughed the last time Emmy saw them. Something Emmy didn't think she would hear her do, considering what she has been through. Emmy nods at Jonathan and they both start to walk. She takes out her phone again, but still no signal and no new messages. She doesn't even know what she hopes to see on the screen, but she often takes it out and glares for a short while, before putting the phone back in her pocket again. The forest, which many claim brings inner peace, offers nothing but cold wetness and a challenging trail on this particular day. Emmy doesn't usually freeze, but now she does. It's the heavy, endless forest's fault. The cold isn't bothersome in itself. In the right amount it could even be nice, Emmy thinks, but now she has had enough. She wants to sit by a fire and warm herself, and she wants to eat. She's hungry. She stops and places her backpack on the ground, squats down, and starts rooting around for a protein bar. Jonathan also stops and he looks at her. The solar charger which Emmy had put in one of the side pockets made of net, almost falls out, so she puts it back. How about a short snack break? I'm hungry. Do you want one too? Emmy asked. She takes out 2 chocolate-flavored protein bars, which is her favorite flavor. Jonathan nods and takes one. Sweet. Chocolate is my favorite, he said. Now that the backpack is on the ground, Emmy feels how heavy it actually had been on her body. Her shoulders ache a little. It feels like she's floating when the weight isn't constantly pushing her down. She heaves the backpack back into place and adjusts the straps. Emmy can't stop thinking about who it was that whistled at them. It couldn't have been Ricky. He's traveling, and Emmy knows he actually went on his trip. She had seen it on social media earlier. In the car on the way here, she saw that Ricky had posted a photo at the airport, and he won't be back for another 2 days. She had also seen that she was tagged in a picture, which made her feel sick. She was only in one of the photos from the party last weekend. What if it's that image her friends have posted and tagged her in? No, of course it's not that picture. Her friends aren't that mean. That they even took the picture is bad enough, but they were drunk and stupid at the time. It was because of the picture that Ricky suddenly decided to go on a quick work trip, since he was in the photo as well. And Emmy had decided to go on this hike. Neither of them wanted to go to the party tonight and be reminded and mocked about last weekend and the photo. Not that Ricky would follow them here and whistle at them. But Emmy knows it's not him, no matter how unlikely it would be, even if he weren't on a work trip. Emmy is forced out of her thoughts when she stumbles on a Root. Damn it, she thinks. Fricking Root, you bastard idiot Root. She hears Yolanda's annoying voice further down the trail. Now we're finally here at the second hotspot. Can you feel it? There's such an energy flow here, it really radiates today. And remember what I've said, you should only seek contact with your loved ones and nothing else. Remember that there are evil spirits and demons that would gladly try to lure you toward them, Yolanda said. Sandra takes a step closer to her. How do you know if you accidentally get in contact with an evil spirit or demon? Sandra asked. You can't accidentally contact them. You either actively seek contact with them, or you respond when they reach out. Say you want to contact your dead grandmother. You think about her and call out to her in your mind. But if you hear an unfamiliar voice, it could be an evil spirit, so you shouldn't respond. You'll feel discomfort when it's an evil force seeking contact. Only seek contact with your loved ones, and they'll bring a pleasant feeling in their attempts to contact you. So you'll know it's them, Yolanda said, glancing around, her eyes narrowing as if sensing something, before turning back to meet Sandra's gaze. Emmy has felt some discomfort today, but it's just her anxiety. Nothing else. Not an evil force, trying to contact her. Yolanda's gaze sweeps across the scattered group, not landing on anyone in particular. And now I'm really curious, has anyone felt a connection yet? Maybe at the first hotspot, or anywhere during the hike? She asked. But the group remains silent. No one says anything, everyone just stares. Peter is the one who breaks the silence, clearing his throat. We haven't felt anything, and we haven't heard anything yet, Peter replied with a furrowed brow. Benny makes his way to Yolanda. I saw Dad in here, Benny said, pointing to his head. How nice to hear. Did your dad say anything to you, or did you just feel his presence? Yolanda asked as she stroked Benny on his left arm. He said hello and he waved at me. He was happy. He was wearing his favorite shirt, the one with numbers. He loved football, and so do I, but I support all teams so my team always wins. But Dad said his team will win the next game, and that I should tell Jonathan that. Benny said. Jonathan stands beside his older brother and puts his arm around him. Dad and I will always be true red and white fans. Whether we're alive or in the grave, Jonathan said and pauses shortly and then continues. But little Benny here supports everyone. But let's see if the red and white team wins the next game. It would be great if they do. I hope Dad is right. The red and white team, which city are they from? Emmy knows nothing about football, but she wants to know if Jonathan lives close to her. Yolanda walks over to Sandra and Peter. Shall we try to find the energy together? Try to release any blockages? Close your eyes. Take deep breaths and think of your son. Any memories will do. Think of how it felt to hug him, to put him to bed, to carry him. Call out to him. Think of his presence, his scent. Yolanda said, her voice gentle yet firm. She stands tall, hands clasped together in front of her, her eyes softly scanning Sandra and Peter, encouraging them to immerse themselves in their thoughts and emotions. And they seem to follow the instructions. Emmy moves away from them, she doesn't want to disturb. She gives William a look and nods her head to the left, signaling for him to move away. She thinks he's standing too close, and it works. He moves. Emmy closes her eyes, breathes deeply, and thinks of her mom. Might as well give it a try, she thinks. The memories are hard to reach, it's been a long time since she thought about her mom. But they're in there somewhere. She retrieves a memory. It's a warm summer day at the beach her mom loved taking her kids to. Their mom plays with them, she gives them snacks and tells an exciting story, one that she created herself. Emmy misses that time, when everything was so simple. And suddenly it feels like something unpleasant is creeping in. The memories from the beach disappear, and all that remains is darkness and anxiety. Emmy hears the whistle. No, not hears. She feels the whistle within herself. She shivers, trying to shake off what is creeping inside her. Could it be Mom trying to whistle at me? But then I wouldn't feel this discomfort creeping into every cell of my body, would I? Could it be an evil spirit, or maybe a demon? She shakes her head. She came here with anxiety, and that's what she is feeling now as well, and not some dreadful force from the other side. I think I feel him. Yes, I feel him. I actually do. I feel he is doing fine, Sandra said. Emmy looks up from her inner thoughts and gazes at Sandra, who stands with her eyes closed and her hands stretched out in the air. I see him in front of me. I see his soul. Do you see him too, Peter? Sandra asked. Yes, I feel him too, Peter replied with a trembling voice. Yolanda sneaks away from them, backing off with a smile. She puts her hands together as if she's worshipping someone, whispering something, maybe the words, "Thank you," and looks up toward the sky. Yolanda and Dennis look at each other. She smiles softly and approaches him. I knew your mom. She was such a passionate person. Rest in peace, our beloved Maria. And I'm sorry for your loss. I really am. I couldn't make it to her funeral, but I sent flowers. Pink roses, they were her favorite. Yolanda takes a deep breath and continues. She talked a lot about you. I know you two were supposed to take this hike together, but then she canceled it last minute. Because something happened on the last hike we went on. Did she tell you about that? Yolanda said. Her expression clouds with concern, her brow furrows, and her gaze intensifies as she waits for Dennis's response. Dennis takes a deep breath. Mom always spoke highly of you, and she always said how much she loved these hikes. But no, she didn't mention the last hike she went on, but she left a very unsettling voicemail on my phone just before, well, you know, before she was murdered. Dennis replied, tears welling up in his eyes. So she didn't say anything about that hike? I can't piece together what really happened, Yolanda said. But weren't you with her on her last hike? Tell me what happened. She canceled the hike she and I were supposed to go on. Well, she didn't cancel the hike with me, but she did with you. There was something about the hike she wanted to tell me. She mentioned it in the voicemail, but she didn't have time to tell me what, before she died. Dennis's voice trembled slightly as he spoke, his hands nervously fidgeting with the hem of his jacket. The hike went on as usual at first. It was just regulars on that tour, people who had gone several times. Your mom knew most of them. We had a good time, until we didn't. I don't know what happened, but your mom woke us up in the middle of the night and was scared. She said something in the woods was calling her, but we didn't hear anything, and I felt no energy from the forest then and there. So, I don't know if maybe she had a nightmare or something. The next morning, we had to cut the stay short and go back to the cars. Your mom didn't calm down until she got home, and then I thought it was all over, Yolanda said, and her gaze drifts away briefly. Dennis, and also Emmy, though she is at a distance, are looking at Yolanda. But then she started calling me in the middle of the night. She claimed she was being followed by someone, who was playing some sort of tricks on her, but I don't know. She was not very coherent, so it was hard to understand. Yolanda said. Followed? Have you told the police that? Dennis asked, his eyes widening. Yes, I have. They contacted me after Maria died, but they didn't seem to put much weight on what I told them. They had already decided she had gone crazy and committed suicide. Yolanda replied. Dennis takes a step back and crosses his arms. Mom would never commit suicide. She wasn't suicidal. And that she was being followed, that's very interesting. It supports my theory that she was murdered. If some crazy person was indeed following her, Dennis said. I also think she was murdered. I hope you find the answers you seek on this journey. Try to seek them within yourself. Search for your mother, and search for the answers. I'll send positive energy your way, Yolanda said, and she hugs Dennis. He hates that kind of thing. He doesn't like it when strangers hug him. He is probably going to push her away, Emmy thinks, but she sees that he accepts the hug. Yolanda releases Dennis and walks over to William. How's it going for you? Are you feeling any connection, or do you need help? Yolanda asked, her voice as annoying as ever. No, I'm good. I'm getting what I need from this, a moment of peace. Nothing more, nothing less. William said, his gaze firmly fixed on her as he continues. It's probably better you move on to my sister. She has packed wine, a solar charger, candy, and a hunting knife to ease her anxiety about being stuck in the forest, so she probably needs your help to calm down," William said. And just like that, Yolanda walks straight over to Emmy. Her stomach twists, and she just wants to disappear. "Are you getting any connection? I saw you actually trying just now, unlike at the other hotspot where you mostly stood awkwardly observing the others," Yolanda said, with a hint of judgment in her tone. Emmy understands why. She would have had the same tone if the situation were reversed. "I'm mostly here for Dennis' sake," Emmy said, slightly twisting her body. "We both know that's not true. We both know you're here because you're seeking answers to questions you haven't even formulated yet. You carry questions you couldn't possibly answer back home. You're running from something at home, or someone, and you needed to get away for a bit. Something at home gives you anxiety. Isn't that right?" Yolanda asked. Damn, that hit right on so many levels, but it only applies to Emmy's situation. It doesn't apply to William or Dennis. But it definitely applies to Emmy. "Okay, so you're good at reading people. I am too, just so you know," Emmy said, her tone carrying a hint of threat. She turns around and walks away. "I could read you too, Yolanda, and tell you what I think of you, how you use your ability to read people to manipulate them. But do you manipulate them to help them, or is this about money and success? It's pretty expensive to join this hike, so money is a factor, a major one." Emmy uses her ability to avoid people, those with too much baggage, those who say one thing but mean another, those with hidden sorrow or anger behind their words. Those people, Emmy avoids. Or, no, that's not entirely true. She also helps people, but only those who have gotten close to her. She often becomes a puzzle piece for those around her, adjusting her reactions and emotional responses based on how the person she's with feels. When someone feels bad, Emmy knows exactly how much space she can take or has to take so that the sad person doesn't feel uncomfortable in their own grief. Emmy doesn't seek out grieving people to help them like Yolanda actively does. But Emmy could, and manipulate them, and take their money, just like Yolanda does. Emmy looks at her. "You're not a better person than me," echoes in her head. "You can call it reading people if you like, but it's called feeling energies," Yolanda explained, once again patronizing Emmy. "Okay, how does my energy give off? I'm fleeing home because I need to get away. What does that energy even look like?" "Nope, you've read my behavior and not my energy," Emmy said, scrutinizing Yolanda. She can't take this anymore. It's time to put Yolanda in her place. "I've looked at my phone like 100 times during this hike, even though I know we don't have any signal here. You informed us of that before we started walking. William just mentioned I have a solar charger with me, highlighting how important it is for me to keep my phone charged. I know my anxiety shows every time I check my phone. In today's society, you inform your loved ones if you won't be reachable for over a day, to avoid worrying them with your silence. Despite this, I still expect someone to try to contact me, even though I don't have a signal. I joined this hike last minute, and with all this information, it's easy to conclude that I'm avoiding someone who I believe might text me," Emmy said. She clenches her jaws, feeling the tension building inside her. Yolanda looks at Emmy. The look turns into a stare. There isn't much to read on Yolanda's face, so Emmy continues. "That I'm mostly here for Dennis's sake is partly true, but yes, you might say I'm running away from someone whose potential texts give me anxiety, but whose silence gives me just as much anxiety. And that wasn't a wild guess on your part. You must have known about the difficult relationship between me and my mom because you knew her. And that I have mixed feelings about being here. Everyone understood when Dennis said that I don't want to be here. So it's an easy conclusion to come to, that I'm seeking answers to questions I haven't yet formulated," Emmy said harshly. The wind catches in the trees. Yolanda crosses her arms. Emmy sees out of the corner of her eye that Sandra walks away, around the curve of a hill. "Okay, so you're looking for logic and you're not here for emotional support. You want to know why your mother left you children, not just once but twice, once when you were little, and then the second time when she died. You just want to understand why. But there isn't always a logical explanation," Yolanda said, tilting her head. "What the hell? Stop trying to read my energy. I'm here mostly for Dennis, and the other part that brought me here is none of your business," Emmy said sharply and crosses her arms defiantly, staring Yolanda down, daring her to challenge her statement. She then turns away, walks a few steps to put distance between herself and the confrontation. A scream cuts through the forest. a woman's loud scream, filled with fear and anxiety. It pierces the air and unsettles the peace of the woods. In response, birds erupt from their perches, wings flap tumultuously against the sky. Then, as suddenly as it began, silence descends. An eerie, heavy silence.